Good morning, and welcome to AI Daily for Friday, July 10th, 2026. Here is your top story. 3 days ago, we told you OpenAI was holding its most powerful models back, locked behind a government safety review. As of yesterday, that vault is open. GPT-5.6, Sol, Terra, and Luna went generally available to everyone. The first frontier family cleared through Washington's new process. And the headline number isn't intelligence. It's efficiency. OpenAI says its flagship now does the same agentic work using 54% fewer tokens. The frontier just went public, and in a single week the whole industry pivoted from bigger to cheaper. We'll break down everything that shipped. But first, the rest of today's headlines. We start with the models, because this was one of the busiest release weeks of the year. OpenAI's GPT-5.6 family is now live for everyone, in 3 tiers. Luna is the cheap workhorse at $1 per million input tokens. Terra sits in the middle at $250. And Sol is the flagship, tuned for science, biology, chemistry, and cybersecurity, with an even larger Sol Ultra above it. The claim that has developers talking. Sol is 54% more token efficient on agentic coding than the last generation. In plain terms, that means the same task at a fraction of the cost. OpenAI says its cheaper Terra and Luna even beat Anthropic's Fable 5 at roughly 1/16 the price, and the models are already wired into GitHub Copilot. One dose of humility. On the hardest, unsaturated reasoning tests like ARC, AGI 3, everyone still scores low. Sol lands under 8%, a reminder that even the frontier has a long climb left. And OpenAI wasn't alone. 2 days earlier, Elon Musk's xAI shipped Grok 4.5, built on a 1.5 trillion parameter foundation and trained alongside the coding tool Cursor. Its pitch is the same single word, efficiency. On one coding benchmark, Grok resolved tasks using about 16,000 output tokens where Anthropic's Opus needed 67,000, more than a 4 times gap, and it lists at $2 per million tokens. OpenAI also launched GPT-Live, a new voice model with a full-duplex design, meaning it can listen and speak at the same time. Drop in a quick or just stay quiet while you think. 4 hard questions. It quietly hands off to a frontier model in the background and brings the answer back. Put it all together, and the theme of the week is unmistakable. After years of chasing raw intelligence, the race has turned to doing more with fewer tokens. Cheaper is the new frontier. To the companies, and Anthropic is changing how you pay for its best model. Fable 5, its flagship, is moving to usage-based billing, metered credits at $10 per million input tokens and 50 on output, layered on top of any subscription. It's the clearest sign, yet that even the leading labs feel the same cost pressure we've been tracking all week. For scale, Anthropic's revenue run rate has rocketed from around $9 billion at the end of last year into the tens of billions now, almost entirely on enterprise demand. Meanwhile, Meta pushed deeper into coding, releasing Muse Spark 1.1, aimed squarely at large agentic workloads, bug fixing, and big code migrations, going head-to-head with the very same tools from OpenAI and Anthropic. The message across the board: the money is now in agents that finish real work. On to products, where the story is agents doing finished work. OpenAI launched ChatGPT Work, an agent that takes a goal, gathers context across your connected apps, breaks the job into steps, and stays with a complex project for hours before handing back finished sheets, slides, docs, and even web apps. It runs on the newly public GPT-5.6. In the same move, OpenAI is folding its Codex coding agent into a single ChatGPT desktop app, putting Chat, Work, and Codex on every plan, including free, and quietly sunsetting its standalone Atlas browser, with its agentic browsing tricks absorbed back into ChatGPT itself. The direction is unmistakable: fewer separate apps, one assistant that just does the job. It also draws a clear battle line against Anthropic's Claude and its own coworker-style agents. On policy, Washington's fingerprints are all over this launch. GPT-5.6 is the first frontier family to clear the voluntary government safety review set up by President Trump's June executive order, which asks leading labs to submit their top models to regulators before release. According to Axios, the administration lifted its remaining restrictions on the models just before they shipped. So the frontier now runs through a government checkpoint, quietly, voluntarily, but really. On the courtroom front, the fight over training data escalated. News publishers accused OpenAI of concealing internal tools that could flag copyrighted journalism inside ChatGPT's outputs, sharpening a legal battle that could reshape what these models are allowed to learn from. As always, nothing here is legal or investment advice, just the facts as reported. Now the markets, facts only, and nothing here is investment advice. Remember the chip panic we opened with on Tuesday, when fears of too much AI compute wiped out hundreds of billions of dollars? This week, it bounced. In Thursday's U.S. session, the semiconductor ETF climbed about 3.5%. AMD jumped nearly 6%, Broadcom added 3%, and Meta rose almost 5%. NVIDIA was the outlier, slipping under 1%. The rebound reads like the market deciding the sky isn't falling, because the efficiency wave means cheaper AI, and cheaper AI could mean more of it, not less. One honest caution on the data. As of their last close on Wednesday, Korea's memory giants Samsung and SK Hynix were still deep in the red, down about 6% each, so this recovery is not yet global. The through line all week, investors have stopped assuming and started pricing in proof. Finally, what to watch? Google's Gemini 3.5 Pro is still expected this month, and it would be the first real answer to OpenAI's efficiency pitch. Developers should watch for GPT-5.6 API access to widen as OpenAI expands preview access globally. Mark August 9th on your calendar. That's the current target to fully retire the Atlas browser. And keep an eye on Washington, where the White House's formal frontier model standards still carry an August 1st deadline. The frontier is public now. The next question the whole industry is racing to answer is simpler and sharper. Who can run it cheapest? That's your AI Daily. The most powerful models went public, the whole industry pivoted from bigger to cheaper, and the chip market exhaled. Subscribe, and we'll see you tomorrow, same time, every morning.